Welcome back. Today I've got another competition gun overview. I will be talking about my Smith & Wesson 627 V-Comp. I have this set up for I-Core Open Division. I was going to go over quickly what I have, everything I've done to it, everything I have on it. Up top, I have a Seymour Railway red dot sight. There. Seymour Railway red dot sight. A TK Customs 3-port compensator. TK Customs extended cylinder release. Hogue Piranha grips with some Gorilla grip tape or non-slip tape on the back. The Seymour mount or Allchin gun parts. Seymour mount for a Smith & Wesson revolver and the 90-degree mount. These are two separate pieces. So if you want this set up like this, you have to buy two separate parts. And then, I don't know if you guys will be able to read this. These are 9mm. I have this cut to 9mm. It's a factory 357. I bored it out, or I sent the cylinder to TK Customs, had them bore it out to 9mm. These are snap caps, also, by the way. See, they're just dummy rounds I use for dry fire. But cut it to 9mm. So we'll go through everything a little bit more. Looks, biggest thing, the red dot up top. I like these Seymour red dots. They aren't super popular anymore, but a lot of guys like them. You see them a lot more in revolvers anymore. You don't see these a whole lot in USPSA, but they're still pretty popular in I-Core. Big thing with them is, with this 90-degree mount, you can see how close that lens is down to the barrel. So you have very little height over bore for that dot, or a lot lower than if you had a mount and then a red dot on top of it. You know, you're getting this a lot lower. So what's nice is we have that. It's a lot easier to find the dot, and that's great for me, someone who sucks with using red dots. It's really pretty easy for me to pull up and find the red dot. So like, I think if you're gonna have, especially if you're gonna use a Seymour, I ran this in one match on my 929 with it the right way up, not on the side like this, and it's that high off the bore because the Seymour red dots are enormous. I like them, but they're huge. I like that big round window. Let's point at the actual camera. I like that big round window it has. They're super clear. A lot of guys don't like these because the battery life on them is abysmal. It's like 600 hours or something. This is an 8 MOA diode in here. With the Seymours, you can replace this. You can go from 2 to 12. You know, everything in between. So I went with 8. Not sure why. I'm not an expert on red dots, so like 4 to 6 seems to be kind of the standard. I went 8, hoping it'd be easier to pick up faster. You know, 8 MOA, that's an 8-inch circle at 100 yards, roughly. So it's not making that big of a deal or big of a difference at the 5 to 25 yards that we shoot. You know, that on a target, even on a mini popper, that's not too bad. Most people would want to get a smaller one. I figured I'd go with an 8, and then if I want to, I can change out this diode and go a 4 or 6, whatever kind of the normal is, but it seems to work pretty good for me. I've got 2 other Seymours that they both have 6s in them, I believe. I bought them used, so I'm not positive. We'll go to talk about the grips next. They're the Hogue Piranha grips. I'll put in the description the specific model. I'll do that with all of the parts I have on the gun. I like these. They got a lot of texture on the sides. The finger grooves, a lot of people don't like them. I like them. It seems like if they fit your hand well, they're good. If they don't fit your hand about perfect, they're terrible. So, but most people seem to like the smooth grip. I know Jerry Michalak likes the smooth grip, but he reloads completely different than I do, or I reload completely different than he does. So I like a lot of texture, and then I do all the gun hand, like reloading and all that with my left hand. He's letting go and getting back on the gun a lot, so the finger grooves and his grip tape on the back would throw him off. I like it because I grab the gun, and it's stuck to my hand. It lives there. So also with that, I want to make sure my draw is perfect, and then it is stuck right to me like Velcro. I like these. The grip tape on the back is the Gorilla tape, like non-slip tape. It is super aggressive. So unless you have some pretty tough hands, or you want a lot of texture, if you want that, and it's not going to tear your hands up too bad, get that. But after a big match of this, my hand and my palm right there is pretty raw. Like the big I-Core match, when I'm shooting two guns, both set up almost exactly the same. Right here on my hand gets a little chewed up. So just be ready for that if you want it. But this thing, it doesn't move. And we'll go to smack it on the table. Great big compensator on the front. This is a TK Customs compensator. This isn't necessary for 9mm or 38. Those big powerful rounds. But I shot it the other weekend with 357s, and those were pretty nice. It's only 357, so it's nothing too crazy, but it had a good pop to it, letting off 8 of them pretty quick. It didn't really lift up much. This comp is a very good comp if you want one to tame the recoil of one of these guns, whether you use it for competition or whatever that you're shooting 357s out of it. These are really nice. So I definitely suggest these, or one of these. Spin it around. Next you got the TK Customs extended cylinder release. These make a world of difference for reloads. With just like the small one, it's only about this, just that size there. You really aren't reloading that fast without one of these. These will take a second off of your reload time. Especially, I got pretty big hands. I'm able to, as soon as I break that last shot, I hit that, and I can pop the cylinder out like that. So as soon as I break that last shot, I'm loaded. I wouldn't be able to do that with the small ones. I have pretty long thumbs, long goofy looking thumbs. Well, they do come in handy. So, but I wouldn't be able to reload even with the smaller ones. If you want to shoot a revolver in competition, this is pretty much a necessity. Everything else it just makes it nicer. This is necessary. No. I need the cylinder. I sent this whole cylinder into TK Customs, and they bored it out to 9mm. It was already cut for moon clips, but they just bored it out a little bit for me. It's 9mm. You won't be able to tell it on here, but if you take two 9mm bullets, they have a slight taper to them. Two of them right here. So you hold them next to each other. In my hand. Let's see what the hell I'm doing. They have a slight taper to them. See if I can get it to where it'll actually show. About like that. It's not a lot, but it is a little bit of a taper. So if you put a 9mm in a 357, it only goes about that far in, about halfway. So TK drilled those chambers out for me, This gun was already cut for moon clips, so I could still shoot 38s out of it, but using 38 specials in competition is terrible. It's a lot of times they won't meet power factor. Factory 38 is loaded incredibly light. It's like 80 power factor or something. But they're so damn long that reloading them is a pain in the ass. Like these, the ejector rod will completely push 9mm out of there. So you don't have to really drive them out to get them to go flying out. You want to give it a good slap. Hit it there, so that way they come all the way out, and it's faster. But 38s are twice as long as a 9mm, damn near. So they're harder to load and unload. Being longer, if any movement between them, these have movement in them. So the longer they are, any little bit of play they have in there, well, that's going to be even more exaggerated. And a lot of 38s, they're like flat nose bullets. Like they're just kind of tapered and a flat nose. 9mm is usually these nice pointy rounds, especially like something like Blazers. A nice pointy round, they drop right into place. And with that tapered case, so the back of the chambers is wider than the case mouth. So they drop in really nicely. So it's a lot easier for faster reloads. You just throw them right in place. I get a lot of comments that my reloads are pretty good. A lot of that's to do with 9mm. Now for competition use, 9mm is better than 38 in every way. There are a lot of guys that have a 357 gun that instead of boring them out to 9mm, they will load what's called 38 short Colt. So I have some cases of it somewhere, but I'm not gonna go find them. They're this length. It's about like you took a 38 special and you cut it down to this length. Excuse me. Take a 38 special and you cut it down to this length and you load it to 9mm load data. And so ballistically, you just get a 9mm, but they're rimmed. So that way, they'll work in 357 guns if they're cut for moon clips. Not all revolvers, or most revolvers, aren't cut for moon clips. But what else there? So yeah, I think 9mm is better than 38. If you're going to get into this, you just cut it to 38, or cut your 38 to 9mm. And another benefit of using 9mm is it's got that tapered case. As soon as it breaks free in the chamber, they're clear. It drops free. So you just need to get that initial pressure broke free, and it drops all the way out. Think of it kind of like you have two cups, like drinking glasses. Stack them on top of each other. They kind of stick together. As soon as you kind of break that seal, they slide right out because they're both tapered. That's like a 9mm case in your chamber. Now think of something like a PVC pipe and a cap or fitting where it is touching the entire way down there. Something like that. So you have to slide it the whole way off. That's like a 357 or a 38 in a 357-38 chamber. So 9mm just loads quite a bit better. And it's better in just about every way. One question a lot of guys have is, so Smith & Wesson puts 357 bores on their revolvers. This is a 357, so obviously it would have a 357 bore. My 929, my girlfriend's 929, they both have 357 bores, and those are factory 9mm guns. So a lot of people think that's going to throw off the accuracy. These 9mm is only 355. I believe it's a 355 bore. So people question, like, well, Is the accuracy going to suffer? I haven't noticed any difference. I can shoot my 929 as accurately as I could shoot this with when I was shooting 357s out of it or 38s out of it before I cut the bore or bored out the chambers. It's not making that much of a difference. I shoot 115 grain bullets, so I think they have a little bit thicker brass jacket or copper jacket than like a 147. Those might be a little thinner. I think that's how that works. I'm not sure. I'm not positive. But so it's good jacketed bullets. They seem to grip just fine. The accuracy isn't any issue. I'm sure this gun with 9mm is more accurate than I actually am. Just, I'm not a good enough shot that I think I would notice the difference in a 355 bore or a 357. I think that is everything. Oh, and I put inside here, there's a TK Customs extended firing pin. If you guys saw one of my videos from 2 weeks ago or so, I was shooting this gun on a stage all weekend on a plate rack. Well, I had a whole bunch of light strikes. I don't know what the issue was. I pulled the grip off it, tightened up the mainspring. It was tightened all the way already, so didn't do anything there. The best thing, some of the other guys in the match that, there are a lot more knowledgeable guys in the match. Their theory was the moon clip was a little bent, so if it being a little bent around there, some of the cases were further forward in the cylinder. The firing pin wasn't hitting the primers hard enough. So TK Custom sells an extended firing pin. I've got these in my 929, my girlfriend's 929, my 610. I didn't have one for this. I should have stole it out of one of those guns for the match. I didn't think it'd be a big deal. It was one match. It was a regional match, so it hurt me. And it was a match that mattered. But hindsight's 2020. But as soon as I had all those light strikes, a couple people said, like, I bet there was a bent moon clip. You should get an extended firing pin. I ordered one right there. As soon as I shot that stage, I ordered one. As far as any action work inside here, I've done none. I shoot Blazer 115 9mm aluminum case. That's basically all I ever shoot anymore. It's a good price. The price for the performance of it is great. You get, there might be better ammo. It's not as cheap as Blazers. You can get cheaper ammo. It's not as good. Blazers are really good happy medium between both of those. It's definitely the best ammo for the value, in my opinion. If you care about my opinion. But one downside to it is it uses CCI primers, which are very hard primers. A lot of the guys that are really into I-Core or USPSA with a revolver, they buy a Federal premium primers that are super soft. So that way they can turn their, they put a lighter mainspring in this, or hammer spring, whatever it's called. Put a lighter one in there and loosen it all the way up. It's crazy how light some of these guys will get a double action trigger pull. 5 pounds. This is 12 or 13. Eventually I'm going to buy a trigger gauge and actually read what these are at. But this is the factory spring tightened all the way up. So it's a little heavy. But I pretty much only shoot revolvers anymore. So I'm used to it. When I go to my 1911 or my USPSA open gun, my Beretta 92X Performance, I have to really get used to those. I have to dry fire a few days before I use those in a match because of how short and light the triggers are on them. It's completely different than these. That's pretty good. Example of different guns being different. Like, you can't be an expert in everything. Everyone that says they're an expert in everything, no, you're not. If I stuck with these, like just my revolvers, just my one, I would be, like, only if that's all I ever shot, I would be A class in I-Corps and master class in USPSA. I like different guns, so I shoot different guns about every month. So I'm going to suffer a little bit with that. It's the trade-off you got to do. If you want to shoot a bunch of guns, well, you're not going to be as good with one of them. What else do we got? I think that's everything. So I'm going to use this is mainly going to be my I-Corps open gun. You'll see a lot more videos of this, probably. I'll use this in about one match a month. At some point, probably later this winter, I'm going to be shooting. I'll shoot at least one USPSA match with this. I could pull the comp off of it, and then I'd shoot it in limited 10. And then this would be a gun, like, I could hold my own in limited 10 with this gun. I usually do pretty decent in USPSA running a revolver. Pretty decent. I beat a third of the people, maybe, if I'm lucky. Depending on the match, stages. Some stages are really revolver friendly. Other stages are terrible for them. But it's what I signed up for. But yeah, so this will mainly be my I-Corps open gun. I'll use this I usually shoot two guns in the I-Corps matches. So it used to be my 929 and my 610, but now it's going to be my 929 and this. The really nice part about that is they both take the same moon clips now. So same ammo, same moon clips. I've got a little ammo can. I'll load up full of them all, and that'll get me through the whole match. If you guys have any questions, be sure to leave a comment. Be sure to leave a comment. I'll put the exact names, descriptions, part numbers for all of the parts I have on this gun. I'll put that in the description. Be sure to like, subscribe, follow, share my videos if you want. Greatly appreciate all of that. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.